I'm Ganguzza, and I am a voice talent coach and speaker.
What's interesting is you were actually one of the pioneers. It's not a crazy amount, a lot, but in terms of doing what you're doing, you were actually one of the pioneers. So I'm sure you kind of benefited because you know how to connect and you're providing useful content back in the day when, it must be, much more competitive now for you or anyone else starting a business, right?
Well, because I worked in technology, I was very used to working on the bleeding edge, so to speak, and I enjoy that. That's a challenge and a thrill to me. And so I was very fortunate to have a budget when I worked in IT to kind of explore new technologies as they came out. And that just gave me a really extensive background for being able to collaborate and share resources globally through distance learning and video technologies and streaming technologies when they first came out. And I'll tell you, when I first started, the stream would break and my internet connection would go down and the audio would just be weird. But for the most part, the content was there, and I'm a big proponent of good content, being able to share good content. And I think that people will forgive technical issues if there's good content to be had.
In 1995, a renegade cow, paintbrush in mouth, painted 3 words on a Texas billboard: "Eat more chicken." Chick-fil-A.
I have interests that I've been able to follow, my passions that I've been able to follow. For example, the VO Peeps was something of a marketing endeavor when I first moved here, and it turned into a really great community, and that community grew as technologies grew, as social media grew, and I continued to evolve and upgrade those technologies. And now I've just recently incorporated a subscription service to the group and am making that available online. And also, I really had a great interest in starting a podcast to be able to share the business tips and techniques that I have with the community and learn how to do that. So I was able to do that. And that's kind of my other little baby, is that weekly podcast and website that is now also offering additional content for how to be an entrepreneur and run your business effectively.
Have a hero that's either an entrepreneur or someone in your life that you'd say, like, this is kind of a role model for me in this entrepreneurial space or in life, I guess?
I'd say probably my biggest hero would be my mother and my father. And they always were so wonderful and encouraging me to go out and do what it is that I wanted to do and to follow my dreams and not to let anything stop me. I've always been kind of a non-traditional girl in worlds that are not traditionally women owned or populated. And so my degree is in engineering. I worked as a design engineer in an orthopedic company for a few years before I got into IT and technology. And now I am running my own business, which I think is the greatest joy that I can think of, is to be able to take on that challenge and grow and fail and grow and just watch things as they blossom and kind of just follow a path in creating something that people can use and is valuable to them. And that brings me joy.
Yes, it's fast and it's definitely food, but even more important than that, it's real. We like to call it fast, real food, or real food fast, or even real food really fast. Whatever we call it, you'll call it delicious. Joey's Kitchen.
What advice would you give for another entrepreneur? Just getting started.
Just getting started. Be willing to try things out. Be willing to go out there on the bleeding edge of technology, dip your toes in the water and fail, because that's really where you're going to be learning the most, in those places where, it didn't work out quite the way I expected. So let's just kind of change directions and do this. I don't like to say in my head that I fail. As a matter of fact, I am one of those people that it just doesn't occur to me. That word doesn't occur in my brain. But what does happen is that if things don't go the way that I anticipate, I just change direction. I still have a goal, an end goal in mind. And if it didn't work out exactly how I thought it would in the beginning, I simply just change directions and modify it so that ultimately I will achieve that goal. And that's really the challenge for me. You know, a lot of people play video games or stuff like that. I like to play entrepreneurship. I like to play the internet. I like to play marketing and my business just to see how I can grow more.
Yeah, you're like a lean startup person without maybe even knowing what lean startup was when you started.
Yes, that's exactly right.